It is a frigid March day by the shore. Kenny is in a small fishing boat in the ocean by the beach. His friends ditched him to get donuts and meet girls, so he was fishing by himself. At first he was feeling a little nervous because he can't swim very well, but he decided nothing was going to happen and kept fishing. Kenny puts bait back on the hook and flings the line into the water. Shortly after, the pole begins to yank. Kenny hooks onto a monstrous tuna. They begin a tug of war. It's Kenny. It's the fish. However, very quickly, his weak arm strength fails him, and Kenny is struggling to hold on. The boat tips, and the tuna pulls him overboard. He starts drowning.
Help! Help!
Now, while Kenny is rapidly dying, I think it's a good time to teach a lesson. Ashley?
Drowning is death from suffocation caused by a liquid entering the lungs and preventing the absorption of oxygen. Drowning is very serious. Water begins to close over the victim's mouth and nose, filling their lungs and quickly cutting off the body's oxygen supply.
Each breath you take is just hurting you more as water is being continuously sucked into your lungs. Statistics show that victims are more likely to be male, young, or adolescent. 10% of children under 5 have experienced a situation with a risk of drowning. In the U.S., these are the causes of death.
44% are related to swimming, 17% are related to boating, 14% are unattributed, 10% relating to scuba diving, and 7% relating to car accidents.
Hey! I'm still drowning over here!
Oh, right. Sorry, Kenny. Try laying on your back so you don't use up as much energy. This works well if you are a strong swimmer like yourself.
Well, that'll help, except I can't breathe.
Kenny loses consciousness for a second, but then comes back to life. He starts to realize he is freezing in the 4-degree water. His core body temperature is dropping quickly. Already his fingers and toes have become numb. His life is at risk. His body cannot produce enough heat. Kenny is shivering uncontrollably. He wishes he had gone with his friends.
Oh, wait, I hate donuts.
Kenny is beginning to realize he is in a real pickle. He knows the signs of hypothermia, which are all happening to him. Guys, I think it's time for another lesson.
Sure, so Margie, what exactly is hypothermia that Kenny thinks he's experiencing?
There are 2 types of hypothermia, primary and secondary. Primary hypothermia happens when the body's heat sources are subjected to intense and severe cold. This can happen when you are left for long periods of time with little protection in extreme cold air or water. Secondary hypothermia is usually a threat to the elderly, so I don't suspect Kenny has contracted this version. It is a threat to this age group because they often take medications or have illnesses that affect their capability to conserve heat. Some precautions you could take to prevent both types of hypothermia are:
People who spend a lot of time outdoors in colder weather can reduce potential heat loss by wearing looser clothing and many layers. Always keep your hands, feet, and head well protected, as these are the parts of your body most susceptible to heat loss because they are farthest away from your heart. Since water takes heat away from your body so quickly, staying dry is very important.
Well, I think for the tip, but I don't really think staying here dry is an option right now.
Also, alcohol should be avoided because it expands the blood vessels and causes heat loss.
Oops.
Sorry, Kenny. I think all you can do now is pray your friends come back, or else the tuna's going to eat you. Oh, look! Off in the distance, Kenny's friends are walking back with donuts! They see Kenny's boats tipped over and rush to the edge of the shore. One of them calls out to him.
Kenny, dude, are you okay? That water's totally cold.
Kenny tries to croak out an answer, but finds he just sucks in more water. The girls his friends brought back tell the guys to go in and save him.
Don't let him die! You have to do something!
His friends jump into a small kayak nearby and begin to row out to Kenny, who is still drowning and freezing to death. They arrive at the boat and frantically search the water for Kenny's body. They feel how cold the water is and begin to think that they won't be able to save Kenny. But then, they see a shape floating on top of water, about 10 feet away. They row over to it and find Kenny face down in the waves. His friends heave him aboard and row back to shore. What seems like a short distance on the way out now seemed like a marathon. But finally, They arrive at shore and pull Kenny out of the kayak. He seems unconscious and didn't seem to breathe.
I'll call an ambulance. Give him CPR to get the water out of his lungs.
I'm not gonna kiss him. Mickey, you do it.
But
Now.
Okay, boys and girls, I think we just have enough time before Kenny dies for one more quick lesson. This lesson is brought to you by www.ehow.com.
Step 1. Open the airway by tilting the head back and lifting the chin. This removes the tongue from the back of the throat. If the person is going to breathe on his own, it should happen as soon as you clear the airway. If they do not breathe, you must give 2 breaths.
Give the victim 2 breaths. Pinch the person's nose, put your lips over the other person's lips, and blow until you see the chest rise.
Find the carotid artery to the side of the Adam's apple and feel for 5 to 10 seconds. If there is no pulse, begin chest compressions.
Feel around in the chest area. If there is no thumping under the fingers in 3 seconds, begin chest compressions. Locate the spot where all the ribs come together in the center of the chest.
Place 2 fingers there. Put the heel of the other hand besides those 2 fingers. Lock your fingers together. Lock your elbows and press the victim's chest using your body weight to about 2 inches deep.
Count out loud as you compress 15 times, and then give the victim 2 breaths. Repeat for a total of 4 cycles, which should take about 4 minutes.
Check again for a pulse in the neck and watch for signs of breathing.
Did you enjoy the lesson? Now back to Kenny.
Okay, there's an ambulance here to take Kenny.
I hope he's okay.
So after this interesting turn of events, I mean, Mickey giving Kenny mouth to mouth, do you think Kenny will live? Did his friends do enough to save him? Tune in next time to the amazing life story of Kenneth W. Gilbane.